Yes. Look, for the last 5 years of my marriage, I started feeling more and more unhappy and more and more frustrated. I just needed someone to talk to, you know, just to figure out if I was crazy or whatever. And every time I turned to Ted, my ex-husband, I don't know, he felt threatened. You know, every time I brought up my feelings and I wanted to talk about how I was doing, he felt like it was a personal attack on him. And anyway, so him and I, we grew more and more apart from each other, and we became more and more isolated. And finally, I had no other choice but to leave. You know, because of my husband's unwillingness to deal with my feelings, I left my marriage feeling like I was a terrible person. I left there with no self-esteem. I genuinely thought that my son would be better off without me. You know, so I left. I went to Joburg, and when I got there, I booked myself into therapy. And I realized that I wasn't a terrible person. That just because I needed some form of emotional and creative outlet, that did not mean that I was unfit to be a mother. Because I love my son. I do. I love my son. And I know that I left him. I know that is a terrible thing to do. Trust me, I have to live with that every day of my life. But in order for me to leave him, I had to believe that that was the best thing for me to do at the time for him. You know, just because someone is a woman, that doesn't mean that I can't have the same hopes and the same dreams as a man. That can't mean that I can't desire to want to have a life that is my own. I mean, is that awful? Is that awful? You know, just because I'm a woman, that doesn't mean that my feelings are any less important than that of a man. Doesn't mean that my feelings are cheaper than a man's feelings. And no, I'm not making excuses. I'm not trying to excuse why I left my son. But what you know, I worked hard. I've been working very hard. I've been working very hard to become a whole human being again. And I don't think that I should be punished for that. I don't think my son should be punished for that either. He's only 7 years old. You know, and I was his mommy for 5.5 years. 5.5 years. My ex-husband only took over for 18 months. And I don't think that that should mean that he has any more of a stake in that little boy than I do. My son needs me. I'm not saying that he doesn't need his father, but I am saying that I do believe that my son needs me more. I am his mother. I'm his mother.